So have you ever had one of those days where you can just tell it's not going to be a good day, you're filled with anxiety, and you just decide that you need to get away for a little bit just to feel a little bit better? Well, I had one of those days recently, and it turned into a pretty epic toy find. Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and I haven't done one of these for a while. It's time to look at my stuff. That's right, my friends, I am back with a new toy haul video. It has been a while since I've done one of these, but there was no better time than now because within this past week, I had a pretty epic toy find that wasn't even planned, and sometimes those are the best ones because I had no intentions on doing any sort of toy hunting, but I just had one of those days. You know those days, right? Like you wake up, you roll into work in the morning, and as you're sitting there getting ready to start the day, you just realize it's not gonna be a good day. I had one of those. I was sitting at my desk at work. I felt the anxiety just kind of building up, and I just decided, you know what? I am not doing this today. So I was able to take a half day, and I just needed to kind of treat myself. So I didn't know what I was gonna do. I just knew that I needed to get away for a bit. I needed to just do something else that didn't take a lot of brain power. So I got in my car and I just started driving, and I ended up hitting the highway, and I drove for a little ways, and then I stumbled upon an antique store that I had not been to in several years and decided, hey, I'll go walk around an antique store. Antique stores are always fun to check out, and I always consider them very hit or miss when it comes to stuff like toys and collectibles. Oftentimes I find that while you can find some neat things at an antique store, enunciate, at an antique store, a lot of times it's overpriced. And I think it's because it's that whole mindset that, oh, it's old, it's in a package. If it is in a package, sometimes they're not. So they put higher prices on them. So I don't always find good deals at an antique store, but sometimes you do. So you never know. And if anything, I just enjoy walking around and seeing what I can find. So I picked up a few cool things, and I just wanted to share that stuff with you here today. Okay, the first thing I picked up is actually a VHS 2-pack, and that's strange, right? But hey, I know some of you out there are probably VHS collectors. Well, this right here is a Walt Disney World VHS 2-pack. And if you didn't know this about me, I am also a big nerd when it comes to the Disney theme parks. I love Disneyland specifically, but also love Walt Disney World. My wife and I actually got engaged in Disneyland, so you know, we've got a history there. I love Disney stuff. I actually spend a lot of time. If you guys ever want to know what I watch on YouTube, I watch a lot of the channels that vlog from the Disney parks and that podcast about the Disney parks. Seriously, I'm just a geek for that stuff, especially the Imagineering and all of the history that's involved. So I thought this was pretty cool because this was only $2. And what this is it's a VHS 2-pack containing one VHS tape for the Magic Kingdom, one VHS tape for Epcot Center. It looks like these are from, what's the year on this? I know I saw the year on this when I was looking at it. Where is it? Oh, it's got to be on here somewhere. But basically, this is from a time when these were the only two parks at Walt Disney World. Of course, you know now there's many more parks than that. You know, with Animal Kingdom, and we got Star Wars Land coming up soon there as part of Hollywood Studios. So this is a day at Epcot Center and a day at the Magic Kingdom. And these are essentially souvenir tapes that you would buy from the theme parks and bring them home. The back of it says, capture forever your happy times at the Magic Kingdom with a souvenir video cassette that lets you bring the magic home. So it looks like it's just gonna be a bunch of footage of stuff like Big Thunder Mountain, the Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean. On the Epcot one here, it's got Future World, Revisit World Showcase, Illuminations is on here. They're both 30-minute running time. The retail on this was $40. I picked it up for $2. I haven't put it, look, there's a picture of Buzzy on there from Cranium Command at Epcot there, who is a missing animatronic these days, if you guys keep up with the news. So I just thought this was so cool. I haven't had a chance to watch these yet. I've got to bust out my VHS player, my VCR. I thought this would be pretty cool. It'd be a neat time capsule into a certain time period of Walt Disney World. So for $2. Yeah, why not? Why not, right? Found a couple comic books. You can always find comic books at antique stores. Prices, again, are hit and miss. These were only a couple bucks, and I actually bought these with my son in mind. He's a big fan of The Incredible Hulk, as I've brought up here before. He does not own a single comic book. All of his knowledge about the Hulk comes from the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, which is where he fell in love with the character, and then he has since seen him on various cartoons, and he's got a bunch of toys. I bought him some Hulk comics. I thought that would be really cool. I mostly just picked these out based on the covers. So this is Hulk number 372. I thought that was a pretty great cover with Green Hulk kind of tearing out of Bruce and Gray Hulk there. That was pretty interesting. I bought this one, 378, because it's Hulk versus Santa Claus, and I thought he'd get a real kick out of that. And the story's great because the Santa is actually Rhino. That's Rhino, like he beat up a mall Santa and took the costume. So it's actually Hulk and Rhino fighting. That's pretty great. Super great for a 5-year-old. And then, Web of Spider-Man, issue 70, Spider-Hulk. Yeah, I thought the cover at least was very cool. Hey, look at it. I love the advertisements on the back of comic books. The Punisher video game is on there. So I got those with him in mind, and he thought they were so cool, and we sat down and we already read through the one with Hulk and Santa, and he thought it was great. So, shopping for my son. All right, so I bought this little loose action figure. There was a lot of random things, and I was trying to decide what I really needed to buy and what not. You know, I'm trying to hold back on just buying everything, if that doesn't sound too crazy. But I'm a sucker for any of those vintage figures that are kind of in that 5.5 scale, retro He-Man style figures. And this guy's not quite that, but he's close. And he was only $1. I have no idea who this guy is. He's got a crazy real hair mohawk. Maybe one of you guys out there can tell me what toy line this is from. I need to do some research. I haven't even bothered looking yet. But if you guys want to tell me who he is, it's weird. He's got like actual cloth pants and a real hair mohawk, and he was only $1, and he was just too weird not to buy. All right, so there's another book that I bought, and actually, this one antique store, because there was actually two that I went into. They were right next door to each other, and the one that I went into had a ton of books, and in a section, they actually had a whole bunch of guidebooks, and I love toy guides. Always wanted to write a toy guide myself. I don't know what I'm hinting at here, but there was a bunch of toy guides, right? And a lot of them were older guides. There was like a collector's guide to California raisins, which was amazing that a full book was made just on California raisins. And there were a couple others. The problem was that they were too expensive. They wanted cover price on all these old books. And I couldn't do that. Like, I'm finding these in an antique store. I want a deal on these. I don't want to pay cover price. So they wanted me to pay like, $20 or $30 a piece for some of these books. And in fact, I was able to look some of them on Amazon, and they're cheaper on there. And I hate not giving a local business, but it's tough sometimes. But I did buy this book. This is a collector's guide to science fiction and astronautical toys. It's just called Space Toys. This one was fairly cheap. It was only a few bucks, and it really stood out to me. So the book is mostly like tin robots and stuff like that. This book is from 1982, which is the year I was born, so it's as old as me. Figure out the math. So a lot of the pictures in here, so there's some black and white pictures. There's a whole bunch of pictures of just like space travel and stuff in general, but you can see it's just kind of like tin robots and stuff. They mention things in here like Buck Rogers gets brought up in here. They even bring up some like Disney toys that are space themed. What else? What are some of the other prominent things that get brought up in here? I was shocked. Oh yeah, there you go. There's stuff like that. I was shocked because I was kind of hoping to see things like the color forms, what would eventually go on to be known as the Outer Spacemen. But they're not really present in here. But also it's worth noting that most of the pictures are like, they're drawings like this, like line drawings. They're not actual photographs of the toys. However, still an interesting book. And one of the things specifically that made me buy this book is there's this little blurb on the back. You see this photo right here of the Kenner Star Wars figures? The blurb underneath it says, "Will Star Wars toys be stellar collector's items tomorrow? The authors think not, and explain their reasons." So that really, really piqued my interest because the authors of this book predicted that Star Wars toys would not be hot collector's items in the future. Now, obviously we know that that is incorrect this day and age. However, the reason that they give in the article, and I don't want to read this whole thing. I would actually, if you guys go check this out for yourself, it's pretty cool. But the reason that they give in here basically amounts to that Star Wars toys from Kenner are mass produced, so they're going to keep making them, and they're going to make a whole bunch of them, so they're never going to be as rare as some of like the tin robots that they talk about. And honestly, that's not wrong. That's actually pretty accurate. However, I just don't think they foresaw how big of a cultural impact Star Wars would have and how long it would last. So they did not foresee that as a thing. It's kind of funny because there's a whole article in the book, which right here, where the author is basically questioning why his kids like Star Wars toys so much. The whole thing almost has kind of like a get off my lawn mentality towards Star Wars. It's really amazing, and I thought it was quite the time capsule of toy history. So this was a really cool purchase. Okay, so now we're at the part of the video, which is the whole reason you guys clicked on this, is what I'm guessing, because you saw the thumbnail. My biggest toy find at the antique store was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Channel 6 news van. And I posted a picture of this on my Instagram and my Twitter. So if you follow me on social media, this is no surprise to you. You already know that I got this. But I had an overwhelming reaction of, I didn't even know that they made this. So let me tell you guys a little bit something about this. The Channel 6 news van came out in 1993, which was towards the end of the original Ninja Turtles toy line. In fact, it was released the exact same year as some of the rarest figures in the line, like Scratch and Hotspot. They came out the same year as this. The Channel 6 news van, like those figures, is actually a pretty hard to find piece for the original toy line. I think I've only seen this one other time in person, and that was at Kane County Toy Show years back, and it was very expensive at that point, so I did not buy it. This one was kind of costly. However, it was a huge deal compared to what they actually sell for. So this was in a case, and it immediately caught my attention, and I couldn't believe it. Like, I ran over to it, I saw it there. It comes with the exclusive green jumpsuit April O'Neil. It looks like everything is there. I'm like about to pass out because this is something I feel like I've never seen before. Like, this is actually, like, I wouldn't call this one of my Grail pieces, maybe. I guess it depends on how you define Grail. I actually called it a Grail piece on social media, but the more I thought about it, I think white whale is the better term, because it's not like a holy grail, but it's definitely something I've been hunting for a long time, and it's been mostly unobtainable. So white whale's I've been hunting for it for a long time. So it had a $200 price tag on it. And I was kind of like, ooh, $200 is a lot, but I know that this is rare, so obviously they know what they've got. So I did the thing I do that I'm sure a lot of you do. I jumped on eBay, and I looked at completed sold auctions for this exact same thing. And within the last couple months, this exact toy in this exact condition has been selling for upwards of $600. No joke. Look it up on eBay. There were some that were in the $400 range. There was one that was almost up through the full $600. And so when I saw that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to splurge today. I'm going to treat myself. This is obviously selling for higher than that. I've never really seen an option to buy this myself in person. I'm going to buy this. And you know what? If I regret spending the money, it looks like I could probably find somebody that would buy it and I could get my money back. So I decided I'm going to get this thing. I grabbed the guy. He brings it up to the counter. And at that time, he's kind of like talking to me about like, oh, I knew that I was going to sell that real fast when I put that price on it. And I was like, oh yeah, this is a pretty rare piece. And he's like, yeah, that's actually mine from when I was a kid. He's like, I'm a collector now, but I've gotten to the point where I'm only keeping certain things in my collection, and I decided my Turtles had to go, so I've been bringing in pieces of my Turtles collection to sell. So this is his from when he was a kid, and he just wanted to get rid of it. And I sat there and I did just talk toys with him for a while, and then the man hooked me up. He ended up giving me a discount, which was so cool of him. Because they were actually running a special in the store, so he was able to apply the discount to my purchase. And my overall purchase with everything was around $150. for everything. So I consider that a steal. I had the extra money laying around. I hadn't done any toy shopping in a long time, and I was rewarded with this very, very cool vehicle. We can look at it a little bit closer because I know you guys want to see it. Essentially, it's a remold of the turtle van. You can tell because it's got the same shell design on the roof. But it's got different stickers all over it there. You can actually see the turtles inside the van and everything. It's got like a camera up here on top. There's like a new chair mounted to the top that's got like a gun that looks like a video camera. It's pretty cool. And one of the parts that's different is over here on the side. Now, the original turtle van had that door that would swing open when you opened up the top. So in this time, you open up the top, and it's kind of got the same gimmick, but the door folds downwards. It's actually kind of stuck on this one. But the door folds downwards, and it's got this crazy little scooter thing that rolls out instead. It probably fits better on the turtles. April doesn't fit very good on it. Like, it's hard to put her on this and then close the door. She doesn't fit. But it's funny. It's just like this little rover kind of thing that's got Channel 6 on there. So you can see that it's different. And then if you look inside, there's like the little control panels and everything that make it look like a news van. Like, you can see the monitors and the little keyboard type thing. Yeah, all the little, there's like video cassette audio, stuff like that. It's just a really, really neat toy. Let me grab April out of here too. The April is just basically a repaint of that earlier release, not the first one, but I think the second one, because it's got like the extra pockets. I don't know, but she's wearing a green jumpsuit instead of yellow, so that's what makes her different. So yeah, this was released in '93. I want to say this was a Toys R Us exclusive. I might be wrong on that, but I do know that it's one of these toys that at the time, I don't think anybody really bought it. And like I said, it was towards the end of the line, so you know, kids were already kind of like moving on, and Turtles is already starting to transition and stuff. But it's the same story as stuff like Scratch. Like, Scratch is so hard to find now. He's so rare now because basically people weren't buying them back then. So his numbers were probably smaller. He was towards the end of the line, all that good stuff. But yeah, so that's the story of how I got one of my personal white whales, a Grail piece, I guess, if you want to call it that, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Channel 6 news van. It really just turned my entire day around. What started out as a day that I thought was going to be just a total disaster. I just wasn't feeling right in my headspace. Things just weren't good. And it just turned into like this amazing find. Like, this is kind of one of those it never happens to me moments. You know, you guys have probably all had those every now and then when you're out in the wild and hunting. Like, this is the kind of thing I don't feel like I've ever find. And I was so happy to bring it home and add it to my collection with all my other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toys. So let that be a lesson for you guys. If you're having one of those days, you can feel the anxiety, you're feeling stressed out, you're just not having a good day, maybe take a little time for yourself. You know, take care of your mental health, and maybe the universe will reward you like it did with me. I'm not saying the universe is going to hand everybody a Channel 6 news van, but you know what I mean. Take care of yourself, guys. Well, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this new haul video, and stay tuned because I'm going to have more coming up very soon. Until next time, my friends.